Anthropic just handed away a full year of premium Claude, Cowork, Claude Code, and a fresh open-source skills library for free. And the catch is, you have to be a teacher. But the skills themselves? Those are open on GitHub for everyone. And that is the move today. This is Mainframe, your daily guide through the AI chaos. What actually happened, who is winning, and how to take yourself to the next level. It is Tuesday, July 14th, 2026. I am Nova.
And I am Dex.
Quick honesty note before we roll. The voices you are hearing are AI. The reporting, the pics, and the opinions are put together by humans. Now the rundown.
On today's Mainframe, Anthropic ships Claude for teachers, and buried inside it is an open-source skills library any builder can steal today. Claude Artifacts go public and multiplayer, and you can now summon them from Slack with Claude Tag. Google's Antigravity opens agent teams to everyone with one command. And the builder stakes tease, Kimi K3 is dropping this week, and it could reset your cheapest coding route, so we tell you exactly when to test it. Let's get into it.
The board. And I am keeping this to 90 seconds because it is context, not the meal. Two things moved the money map today. DeepSeek is prepping an IPO. Chinese AI pioneer DeepSeek has begun preparations for an initial public offering and may file as soon as this year, planning a mainland listing that would allow it to debut in 2027. It is raising at a pre-money valuation of at least 480 billion yuan, roughly $71 billion, up about 37% from its $52 billion valuation 2 months ago.
And why a builder should care?
Because DeepSeek got there on volume and price. DeepSeek V4 Flash consistently ranks first globally in language model API call volume. A company becomes the most valuable Chinese AI lab by being the cheapest capable route, not the smartest one. That is the whole thesis of this show, restated by a balance sheet. The money is in the model that is good enough and dirt cheap. Which is exactly why Kimi K3 landing this week matters to your bill. Keep a routing dial, price per finished task. Do not lock to one vendor. Moving on.
Brought to you by Outpace.
Here is the thing about today's teacher story. It is really a story about someone handing you their working method for free. That is Outpace. Picture a builder who spent 30 years running actual businesses: real estate, hospitality, food, even a theater. Now that operator points a whole team of AI agents at exactly one client's project at a time, from strategy all the way to shipped. Outpace at outpace.media is a system, not a freelancer, and not some faceless mega agency. The agents do the work. One senior operator steers them, and at the end, you own the code and you own the keys. When the model shelf reshuffles 3 times a week, you want someone who steers the whole fleet. So here is your move. Book a 30-minute call at outpace.media. That is outpace.media.
The Wire, lead story, and it is the fresh Anthropic release. Anthropic on Tuesday launched a free version of Claude geared specifically toward teachers, giving U.S. K-12 educators a library of teaching skills and a direct connection to evidence-based curricula mapped to academic standards in all 50 states.
Right, and the headline for a normal listener is Free Claude for Teachers. The promotion includes a free year of premium Claude access, and eligible teachers can apply by June 30th, 2027. But for a builder, the interesting part is what is under the hood. Claude for Teachers includes access to both Claude Cowork and Claude Code. And Anthropic published an open-source repository of the teaching skills on GitHub.
So the skills are public, even if you are not a teacher.
That is the play. And here is the pattern worth studying, regardless of what you build. Anthropic gives the example of a teacher asking Claude to review exit tickets each school day at 4 p.m. and adapt the next day's plan based on what students mastered. Strip the classroom out of that, and what you have is a scheduled co-work task that reads yesterday's outcomes and rewrites tomorrow's plan. That is a template you can lift straight into sales follow-ups, support triage, content calendars, anything. The move this week: go read the Open Teaching Skills repo, not to teach, but to see how Anthropic itself writes production skills grounded in named evidence. That is a masterclass in skill authoring, sitting in public.
Story 2. Anthropic also shipped a Claude feature for the rest of us. Artifacts now support public sharing and multiplayer editing in Claude code and can be created with Claude Tag.
We covered artifacts reaching Pro and Max earlier this month, so let me give you only the delta. What is new? 2 things. 1, those artifacts now support collaborative editing, so multiple team members can iterate on a shared project rather than passing files back and forth. 2, you can now generate them from Slack. Claude Tag lets users summon the AI directly in Slack channels by tagging Claude, and it leverages shared organizational context and tool access to handle tasks within the conversations where work already happens.
The concrete move.
Next time a teammate pings you in Slack asking for a dashboard or a walkthrough, do not open a doc. Tag Claude right there, have it build the artifact, share the public link, and let 2 of you edit it live. You skip the export, the upload, the "here is the file" dance entirely. The catch worth naming: Claude Tag rides on Slack, which Salesforce owns, and it is available today in beta for Claude Enterprise and Team customers. So pro solos, you get the public sharing and multiplayer artifacts. The Slack summon is a teamed-up thing for now.
Story 3. Fast. Google opened agent teams in Antigravity. Antigravity now supports agent teams via a new /teamwork preview command, letting you spin up a dynamic team of specialized sub-agents that coordinate in the background to plan, build, and verify complex engineering tasks in parallel.
Be honest, Catch, because this is the whole story. The Teamwork Preview command is gated to the $200 a month tier. Google warns to run it with Gemini 3.5 Flash, or you will incur a hefty bill. And a single task can exhaust your weekly quota. So this is not for casual use. The move for a solo builder is to watch the shape, not buy the plan. It orchestrates roles like worker, reviewer, critic, and auditor. That 4-role split, 1 builds, 1 reviews, 1 criticizes, 1 audits, is a sub-agent pattern you can rebuild cheaply in Claude code yourself without paying $200 a month.
Tool Lab. 2 picks. First one, Hidden Gem, and it is writing today's teacher story.
The pick is an open-source education skills library on GitHub by Gareth Manning. Tag it Hidden Gem. Here is why it is on the show even if you never set foot in a classroom. It is an open-source library of 165 evidence-based pedagogical skills across 20 domains, and it works in Claude code, Claude.ai via MCP, OpenAI Codex, and Hermes agent. The reason a builder wants this is not the lesson plans. It is the authoring discipline. Every skill is grounded in named research, and frameworks that lack empirical support, like learning styles, are deliberately excluded, with the library documenting exactly what was left out and why in an exclusions file.
So you are recommending it as a template, not a product.
Exactly. First step, clone it, open one skill.md file, and study how they scope a skill so tightly that it only fires when relevant. You install the skills, then tell your agent what you need in plain language, and the relevant skills get selected automatically or searched locally. Copy that structure for your own domain. If you write skills the way this repo writes them, evidence cited, narrowly scoped, self-documenting exclusions, your agent gets sharper and your context stays lean. Credit to Gareth Manning.
Second pick, trending, and it is for the local model crowd.
Atomic Chat just shipped DFlash, and this one is a genuine speed unlock. Tag it trending. Atomic Chat is a local inference app, and it runs an OpenAI-compatible server at localhost port 1337, so any agent, CLI, or IDE plugin that speaks the OpenAI API can run on top of your local models with no extra glue. What is new is the decoding mode. DFlash is block diffusion speculative decoding for Twen 3.6, Gemma 4, Kimi K 2.5, and others. In plain terms, a small, fast model drafts a chunk of tokens, the big model just checks them in one pass, and the output is identical. Independent benchmarks back it. On Twen 3.627b, one reviewer measured 80 to 83 tokens per second with DFlash versus 38 to 40 for the same Forks plain baseline.
The catch?
Two of them. DFlash is Apple Silicon only right now and cannot be enabled together with the other speculative mode, MTP. And quantization matters. The newer drafter has fragile attention layers, where a Q4 quant collapses acceptance, so Q8 is the smallest quant that preserves quality. The move this week: if you run local Twen on an M-series Mac, install Atomic Chat, enable DFlash with the Q8 drafter, and point Claude code at localhost 1337. You roughly double your local throughput for free, and byte for byte, the answer does not change.
Use cases. Things you can run this week with what is already in your hands.
First, and it is time-sensitive, the Kimi K3 window. Multiple voices are on this. According to Moonshot AI staff, Kimi K3 is coming in July, and Kim Onismus and Andrew Curran both flag a top-up promotion page suggesting a launch around July 15th, meaning possibly tomorrow. K2.6 and its coding versions became the open-weight default for agentic work. The recipe: the day K3 lands, do not standardize on it. Benchmark it. Take your 3 highest volume coding jobs, boilerplate, scaffolds, mechanical refactors, run them through K3 on OpenRouter, and log quality and cost against your current cheap route. If it beats your fallback, you swap one line of config. If not, you lost 20 minutes. Either way, you are ahead of the builders who read the hype and did nothing.
Second use case.
Steal the exit ticket pattern from the teacher launch. Cowork can schedule repeated tasks, like reviewing exit tickets every school day at 4 p.m. and adapting the next day's plan. Non-teachers. Schedule one cowork task tonight that every morning reads yesterday's completed work, your closed tickets, your merged PRs, whatever your outcome is, and drafts today's priority list from it. Since cowork runs in the cloud, it fires with your laptop closed. You wake up to a plan built from reality, not a blank page.
Third, quick one.
The 4-role review pattern from Antigravity's agent teams, rebuilt for free. In Claude code, define 3 cheap subagents: a reviewer, a critic, and an auditor, and let your main model be the worker. After the worker ships a diff, fan it out. Reviewer checks correctness, critic attacks the design, auditor verifies it actually runs. You get the multi-agent hardening Google charges $200 a month for on your existing subscription on whatever cheap model you route to.
Brought to you by SearchViz.
Quick one. Mainframe tells you what shipped. SearchViz, a sibling Outpace Media product, makes sure the models know what you shipped. When a buyer asks Claude, ChatGPT, Perplexity or Google's AI overviews for the best tool in your category, the model names you, or it names your competitor, and if it does not name you, you do not exist to that buyer. SearchViz tracks whether the answer engines cite your brand across every engine, tells you why, and hands you the exact move to publish to win the citation. Check where you stand and start free at searchviz.outpace.media. That is searchviz.outpace.media. Be the answer.
The deep dive. One idea.
Here is the through line I want you to carry into your week. Notice what Anthropic actually did today. They did not just give teachers a chatbot. They published the teaching skills as an open-source repository. A frontier lab took its own hard-won working method, wrote it down as skills, and gave the method away. And that is the second time this week the most valuable artifact was not the model. It was the encoded method sitting on top of it.
The encoded method.
Think about what commoditized and what did not. DeepSeek is worth $71 billion for being the cheapest volume model. Kimi K3 will undercut somebody tomorrow. The raw intelligence is a race to the floor. But a well-authored skill, a scheduled workflow that reads reality and replans, a 4-roll review loop, that stuff does not commoditize because it is judgment written down. Anthropic knows this. It is why they can afford to give the skills away. The skills make Claude stickier, and the method is the moat, not the tokens.
So what would you actually do about it?
Here is what I would do this week. Stop collecting models and start collecting methods. Every time you get a genuinely good result out of an expensive model, do not just keep the output. Make the model write down how it got there as a skill file. Go read the Teacher Skills repo to see what written down judgment looks like at a professional bar. Because when the next cheap model lands, and it lands roughly every Tuesday now, the builder who owns a shelf of sharp, evidence-cited skills swaps one config line and keeps every edge. The builder who only owns a subscription starts over.
The close.
Level up this week. Clone the Open Education Skills repo. Read oneskill.md end-to-end, and rewrite one of your own workflows to that standard, evidence-cited and narrowly scoped. 10 minutes, and every agent run after is sharper.
And if you want all of this in your inbox, every story, every link, every command, subscribe to the free Mainframe newsletter. It is the written version of this whole show.
That is Mainframe for Tuesday, July 14th. Go collect a method, not a model. See you tomorrow.